All right. Well, thank you everybody for being here. I'm Susan Linker. It's so nice to see you all. I so wish we could have been doing this in person. That I was hoping it could be at a beautiful country club, but alas, here we are, and I just appreciate your support and you being here. And just a few housekeeping things before we start going. You're all on mute right now. If you wouldn't mind just staying in mute through the presentation, that just helps us, hear the presenters much better. Also, there is a little chat at the bottom. So feel free to, if you have any questions, throw them in the chat or anything else you want to share. We'll be taking questions at the end of the presentation. So we'll I have someone that's kind of monitoring the chat to kind of make sure we collect any questions that we have, and we should have some time at the end of the presentation. Also, you'll notice that in the top right-hand corner, there's an opportunity for you to view things, either gallery view or speaker view. If you could click it to say speaker view, what that will do is it'll really help you be able to see who's presenting on the big screen, and that'll just help with the program look much better for you and have a better experience. All right, so I'm going to mute you, Mitch, because
You just muted yourself.
Thank you. Okay, I'm not going to do it. So anyway, first of all, let's get going. So this is a thank you event. Obviously, we appreciate your support. We are, as you know, 100% reliant on charitable donations. And so while we appreciate every single gift that is given to our companions, today we specifically are celebrating you, our members of our McLane Leadership Giving Society and our Forever Home Society. You play a really significant role in our organization's ability to do everything we do for the animals. And I just wanted to give you a little context to what that means and why this group is so important to us. 89% of our funding comes from members of our McLane Society. That means out of the thousands of donors that we have in our organization, members, a small group, the members of the McLane Society, which are about 550 people, make up 89% of our total annual budget. And so they're really, that's a tremendous impact that it has on us. So I just wanted to recognize you as being, pretty much our primary investors in allowing us to do what we do. Also, I'm thrilled to say that we have 179 members of our Forever Home Society, which is our legacy society. And that is equally meaningful and important to us. As our organization grows, and you're going to be hearing a lot more about the expansions we're having in program and sanctuary today, it is so important that we have the sustaining support of legacy members, those that make sure that our programs are here not only today, but in the future. And I know a lot of you in our McLane Society are also have included our companions in their estate plans, so I want to thank you for that as well. And for everybody who might consider it, if you have any questions, always just let me know. So a lot of our staff and animals wanted to thank you in person, but I said, you know what, you have to take care of the animals, go to work. So instead we recorded this little video for you, and I'm just going to share my screen quickly so they can have a few words with you.
Hi, I'm Crystal and this is Gidget, and we're really grateful for everything you do. Gidget has a lot of medical issues, and without you, there's no way we could get her everything she needs. She's really doing much better. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, this is Lindsay here at Our Companions and my friend Cornbread. We just want to say thank you so much for your generous support over the years and keeping the sanctuary running. With your support, we're able to take care of all these wonderful animals and give them everything they need to have the best life possible. So thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Jill and this is Brooke, and we just want to thank you so much for all your support. It is very much appreciated.
Hi, I'm Brianna and this is Ralph. Thank you so much for all your support.
Hey everyone, I'm Jen. This is Daisy. We want to thank you so much for all your donations. We couldn't do this without you and helping dogs like Daisy who has medical issues. And we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi, this is John and this is Ren here, my little buddy. We'd like to thank all of the donors for all of your support with everything that we do here.
Hi, I'm Montana. Thank you for supporting Our Companions and helping us help animals. This is Juno. She lives in Love Shack and she's very fun to hang out with.
Hi, I'm Shayna.
I'm Lori. This is Ortega. He is such a love, and we thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for everything you do to help us take care of him. He's got a lot of health issues, and we just really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Alyssa.
And I'm Courtney.
And thank you for your support, because we can handle these dogs like Daisy May here.
Thank you so much for all that you do. We really appreciate it.
But that's our wonderful staff at the sanctuary, and we have just so many lovely animals there, and it's just a quick glimpse of the impact that you've had. So they just wanted to relay their appreciation, both in animal person and in human person. So let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to do today. First, I'm going to provide you with an update on some of our programmatic changes and the plans we're making. Then our sanctuary director, John, is going to talk to you. There's some people in the waiting room. Mitch, could you let some people in? Sorry. Then John Phillips, our sanctuary director, is going to be live from the sanctuary, as is Lindsay Polino, who is our feline volunteer manager. They're going to give you a special update on the sanctuary and introduce you to some really special animals that we've been able to help thanks to you. And then finally, Mitchell is going to, as our development committee chair, he's going to give you an update on our capital campaign, our annual fund, and all sorts of exciting stuff fundraising. So let's just get to it. So as far as the program update, I don't think I need to, it's not a shock to tell you that COVID has pretty much changed everything everywhere, and animal welfare issues certainly have been impacted as a result. One of the things that I'm pretty proud of is during COVID, we had to make a lot of changes quickly and just adapt. And I think I was really happy to see we've been able to be nimble and adjust. But even longer term, what we're seeing is there's going to be a lot of long-term effects of the pandemic. And so what we've been trying to do with our programmatic changes is really try to understand what trends are happening, what's happening now, what trends are happening, so that we can modify and adjust and create new programs to meet the new and emerging needs for people and animals. So I just wanted to go through a few of those big changes that we've made as a result. So I'm going to share my screen one more time with you. All right. So one of the biggest changes that we've made just this year is largely due to the pandemic. We really knew that we needed to keep our feelers on what's going on in the community to be able to be ready to meet new needs. So we created a community outreach manager position. It's for those of you who have been involved in the sanctuary with the dogs, the name Beth Merrow probably sounds familiar to you because she was the canine volunteer manager at the sanctuary. She's joined this position, and she's done a great job so far. She has a lot of background in this area of community outreach and program development. And her job is two main things. One is to learn about the needs of pets in underserved communities, to kind of really get a deep dive in what's going on in these areas where people don't have a lot of resources, so we can understand the issues. And then with that information, how do we expand our existing programs or create new programs to support pets and their families? So that really has been one of our goals, is to really try to focus on making sure that we know what's going on and that we're able to meet the needs of people in the community. One of the things that we started identifying early on during the pandemic, and even before that, is that we were finding that a lot of seniors and elderly were struggling with caring for their pets. And as we have a helpline that receives and responds to thousands of calls a year, and we track every single call that comes in, and we have very nerdy spreadsheets because we're looking for trends in what's going on and what can we surmise from this. And we've been noticing that seniors and elderly are really having a hard time, and we were intersecting in many really difficult cases. So we decided to kind of just jump into helping this population of people. And so just to give you a little background why seniors are becoming such an important population for us to focus on. First of all, it's a growing population in Connecticut. 1/3 of our state population are senior citizens. It's actually the 7th oldest state in the country. So there's just a lot of people that are in that age frame that have needs. And the financial insecurity in the population is very real. You know, the primary income for seniors, many seniors, is Social Security. And the average annual benefit is about $21,000 a year. So it really, a lot of people have a lot of economic hardships. And so particularly in that population, there is really a need. What we saw during the pandemic is that beyond the financial vulnerability, just in general, they have lack of access to transportation, technology. A lot of seniors and elderly are very isolated and can't get the care that they need or know where to go for it. Many people don't have family anymore. So it's really challenging for a lot of people just to get access to the services they need for themselves and for their pets. And of course, we all know the benefits of ownership, not just for senior citizens, but for everybody, but particularly for the elderly. Having that companionship, it is essential for mental health, physical health, that companionship, the daily responsibility. I mean, pets improve our lives. We all know that. But a lot of times when you're living alone and you're vulnerable, having that companionship is so essential. And if we can do whatever we can to preserve that bond, that is a real priority for us. And then we also, to a benefit of this, there are already a lot of social service networks already in place. Most towns have senior centers or, you know, some kind of human resource institution that we can partner with. And we found in a lot of cases that partnering with human service agencies really helps us deliver our services much more efficiently to the animals. And sadly, over the last, I would say 2 years, we've been seeing much more very sad, unintentional animal neglect. Most of it is veterinary neglect. Because of the reasons I cited before, the financial reasons, the access, transportation. Many of the pets that are living with seniors are elderly themselves. And so they might have some emerging age-related diseases that are not getting treated. And then it becomes a real crisis. And we see these animals when they're in a state of suffering. So our goal for this is to try to intervene early on, knowing that a lot of their pets are seniors themselves, so we can access them to the preventative and then caregiving services that they need to keep their pets nice and healthy. And then the other thing that we saw trends over the last couple of years is a lot of animals that have been left behind by the elderly. Either it's from people going into care facilities or passing away. More and more cases we've been seeing of animals left in apartments or ending up in animal control. Like I said, mostly these are senior animals themselves. So part of our senior services program is putting together safety net programs that will be able to make sure that if a person isn't there to take care of their pets, that there's a plan in place, which is so essential. So that's a big part of what we're going to be doing with our community outreach, but also just generally assessing what are the trends, what are the emerging needs so we can respond appropriately and plan to make sure that we can fill those needs. Another big thing that, and so this is another thing that we do with the senior services. Yes, we've been actually starting to pilot right now with the town of Manchester. We've had a couple of pop-up clinics. We already had one in October, which was great. And another one is scheduled for November. The one in November is with our Dr. Brown. She's our sanctuary vet and she has a mobile unit. So we're going straight into a housing facility for seniors. And it's not just to provide, you know, vaccines and wellness care, but it's also to provide, you know, food, supplies, and then get to know people, what their needs are. And if there are perhaps surgical needs or other care needs, we can then follow up with these clients through our other programs and make sure that those services are being met. So we've been able to get really out there immediately in the community, and the response has been so appreciated. And it's been really essential having the partners with animal control and, you know, the housing authority and the senior center. So it's a big part of what you'll be hearing more about what we're doing. It all started this year, and it feels really good to be helping this wonderful population of people who just loves their animals so much. So another big COVID thing that came up and a big pivot we have done in our programs is our Parenting with Pets program. You can see the statistics, they're very scary. 60% of our helpline calls are aggression related, which is really sad. But, another sad statistic is 50% of our kids are going to be bitten by the age of 12. And these aren't, rabid dogs running down the street. These are the family pets. These are the family dogs. What we found happening with COVID was that we were getting so many more calls on our helpline about aggression issues directed at children. And the original, origin was obvious. The kids were home from school. The dogs weren't getting a break from their family. Everyone was stressed out, but it has continued. And in these cases where there are dog bites with kids or bad interactions with dogs and kids, generally the outcome is the dog loses her home or worse. And so we put together this program and partnered with a woman named Beth Vincent, who is one of our dog trainers. She's also a certified family pause instructor, which means she's specifically trained to be able to help parents and families understand and manage pets and children together. So basically, this is a little screenshot from our website. The program is basically where we have different webinars and live events directed at there's 3 different programs. One's for prenatal and baby, one's for toddlers, and one's for school age. And the goal is to have this program that's accessible to people that they can use to understand body language with dogs so parents know what to look for, and also to set up really good management systems so they can manage their dog and their kids. And then, to make sure that we can develop this positive bond between dogs and children. So as they grow and the children age and the dogs age, that family is living in harmony. What we're doing is beyond facilitating these trainings is that our companions is offering to pay for the cost of Beth to go in a home and do an assessment. So if there is an issue or people want to hopefully prevent an issue, she'll go in there. It's usually about an hour and a half, meet with the family and put a plan together and then continue to follow up, because we feel so strongly that keeping these children and these dogs safe is super important. And this has been a much bigger issue that we were expecting, but one that we've directly responded to. And then, of course, big news, we're expanding the sanctuary. We've been teasing it out for a while. Basically, we are on a campaign. It's a $1,750,000 capital campaign. Essentially, we're going to be building 3 more cottages. You'll notice that there's a senior dog cottage here, a cat cottage, which will specifically help under-socialized cats. And for the first time ever, we're going to be introducing some new species to the sanctuary beyond cats and dogs, and we'll have our critter cottage. And that will help small animals like rabbits, guinea pigs, ferrets. We're really excited to welcome this population of animals. A lot of these smaller animals are very often neglected. And as with all of our animals at the sanctuary, we're really going to be focusing on helping animals with special needs. So we're going to talk a lot more about the sanctuary expansion as the program goes on. But I just wanted to take a moment to just give you some of the big programmatic changes that we've made as a response and to COVID, and also just what we're seeing in changes in the community. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen now. Okay, so now that I've kind of talked a little bit about the sanctuary and the expansion, I'm just going to now pivot it to the second part of our program. We have John Phillips and Lindsay that are live at the sanctuary. And John, who do you have with you there?
On this side, you can see Miss Daisy behind me. Daisy is a senior who came in here requiring some veterinary care. She's actually going to be getting some surgery tomorrow, so she's getting her special treatment today. And we're going to get her through her recuperation and get her home. And on this side, we've got Kiwi. The two have met here and become pretty decent friends. Kiwi is also middle-aged to older. We're not exactly sure. Came in with some skin and coat issues that have recovered nicely. And we're getting her ready to head home as soon as we can find her a good spot.
Wonderful. And Lindsay, who's with you at the cat sanctuary?
Hi guys, I have Ortega here. He's looking longingly at the door for food, but he's another senior cat that we have here who's also has a lot of health issues. And he's been, up and down with those issues, but we recently were able to do something really cool with him. And if you know someone who's diabetic or diabetic yourself, you might have heard of like glucose monitors you can get implanted. And this past Friday, he actually got one implanted himself so we can keep track of his blood glucose sugar. And he's very sweet and it's been going well so far, but he's happy to say hello. Ortega.
Hi, Ortega. Your whiskers are beautiful. So thanks, guys. I was talking with the staff about, I was saying we're going to be having this leadership event. These are our biggest investors. What should we be telling them? What message do they need to hear? And the feedback I had gotten was, it would be really nice if these people who invest so much to make sure that we're here really have a full appreciation for kind of what really goes on day by day, like a real, genuine peek under the hood. Obviously the sanctuary is a beautiful place. The animals come to us, we rehabilitate them and hopefully find them new homes. But the truth is, and the reality is, animal rescue is a bumpy business. It's not always just roses and happiness. The truth is these animals come to us and in many respects they're traumatized, emotionally and medically. And the path to rehab often is, a bumpy path. It's not a smooth ride. Sometimes they'll come in with a medical issue and we'll think, okay, we can handle this. And then, 3 weeks in, we realize, oh my God, there are some real serious behavioral challenges that are here on top of it. So these things constantly come up. And your support and the ability to have this physical environment, but also the financial resources to be able to say, okay, this is a big hot mess. We've got to deal with this. We weren't expecting it, but we can do it. We can do it because we have the staff. We can do it because we have the volunteers. We can do it because we have the facilities. We can do it because we have the financial resources. And that is a wonderful thing to be able to do. So all of the challenges that we face, we know we can handle this thanks to you. And so we just wanted to introduce you to a couple of friends. So I'm just going to share my screen one more time.
Hi everyone, my name is Lindsay and I'm the volunteer feline manager here at Our Companions Animal Sanctuary. And this is my friend Gator. He's one of the cats we have here at Jane's Place and he has an interesting story. So he was initially found as a stray and brought to the vet with some mobility issues and a high temperature and some missing hair, and going from there it was kind of like a puzzle to figure out what was going on with our little pal here.
Once Gator arrived at the pound, it was clear he needed some TLC. With puzzling blood work and evidence of thinning hair, here at the sanctuary we were ready to find out all the ways we could help this sweet boy. He was very sensitive to the touch, especially on his back and his hips. Ultrasounds revealed abnormally large kidneys, potentially due to cysts. He was still showing odd symptoms like painful overgrooming, and we helped him with some rounds of antibiotics, anti-inflammatories, topical solutions, steroids, special diets, further exams and scans, and even an allergy panel that revealed a severe dust mite allergy that we treat today with immunotherapy shots. Safe to say we've looked at every option to help out this boy, and while he's fairly stable now, we'll be ready in the future to help him with whatever he needs next. But even with all his health challenges, Gator is still one of the most snuggliest, friendly cats, even when he isn't feeling well. When it comes to Niles and his big bro Lucky, the health problems are less mysterious, but led to some behavior issues. Niles was also found as a stray with several medical issues with his eyes, including a painful condition that causes eyelashes to grow into the eye. With cryosurgery able to freeze lashes in place, it gives him a ton of relief. But with this chronic condition comes eye drops multiple times a day, and as you can imagine, that is no cat's favorite thing to endure. We work with Niles every day to get him more comfortable with people and less shy, with staff focusing on behavior work to get him used to being handled. He's very brave around his buddy Lucky, so we would love to adopt them out together. He really comes out of his shell when Lucky is around. He recently got another round of cryosurgery, and even with his multiple different eye drops during the day, we are so lucky to be able to provide him with relief from this painful condition.
So as you can see, some of our animals have been through quite a lot with us, and we're happy to take care of them. And whatever comes their way, health-wise or behaviorally, any of the animals we get here in our care are going to be able to get, whatever it is they need to be the best version of themselves. So we're really grateful for all your support for allowing us to do that. And, we take it one day at a time, and whatever these cats and dogs and eventually critters need, we'll be here for them to help give them whatever it is they need.
Hi, my name is John. I'm the Sanctuary Director here for Our Companions, and this is Rory. Rory came to us from a bit of an abuse situation where he had suffered some traumas, had gotten some injuries. He's can't see out of one eye and has some other damage to his jaw. So he had a lot of problems when we got him in here. The biggest of which we had to address was his fear of people and strangers, understandably. So we went into our normal procedures for helping him understand that people are okay and that he can learn to trust people, and we went through a really slow process of getting him okay with being touched and handled, which obviously you can see he's done quite well with. So where that leaves us now is that he has gotten so into people and trusting people that he is now overexcited when he sees them and barking his little red head off. So we are working on that training aspect with him now to get him a little bit of self-control and a little bit of calm when he sees people and exciting things in the world. Charlie has a fairly sad backstory. His owner had passed away suddenly while Charlie was in his backyard, and Charlie ended up spending a couple days alone in his backyard. He was an older guy and not the best cared for, so we had a numerous bunch of health problems that we had to jump into right away. He needed dental work. His muscle tone wasn't great, so we had to get him some slow, steady exercise to build his strength up. The biggest thing that we ran into while he was here is that he was not entirely potty trained. And he really didn't acclimate well to spending time alone in his room. So we were able to try a couple creative things. We found him lots of fun toys to play with in his room, food games. But the biggest thing is that we were able to give him free access in and out of his room for a lot of the day. That helped make him happier and give him the freedom that he was looking for while still kind of keeping him safe and together. Unfortunately, while Charlie was here, he started to exhibit some symptoms that began to worry us. Including some nosebleeds and he had a seizure, and we ended up finding out that he had a tumor in his brain and another one in his nasal cavity. So we unfortunately had to help him pass while he was here. But luckily he was able to pass surrounded by people that he loved, a place that he felt comfortable, and a place where he felt safe and loved. So Charlie and Rory are a couple of examples of some of the types of things that we often have to deal with here with dogs with multiple issues or issues that progress over time, and some of the stages of rehabilitation as they're making their journey here and eventually finding their way to being healthy, happy, and hopefully someday finding a home.
So as you can see, a lot of bumps along the way. Some great outcomes, some sad, but the truth is that we're here for the animals, thanks to you, and we're just excited to continue to keep doing this work and even expanding our ability to help animals at the sanctuary. So I wanted to just, as we're talking about the sanctuary now, I thought it would be fun to give you a glimpse of the new buildings that we have. So I was hoping that John could walk us through the new dog cottage that we're going to be constructing this spring, to explain why this cottage, who it's for, and how it's going to look. Lindsay will do the same with the cats, and I will have the privilege of walking you through the critter cottage. So let's just take a look at that. There we are. So John, why don't you give us a tour of the dog cottage?
Okay. So as I mentioned with Daisy and Kiwi both here, we get a lot of older pets in, or pets with different orthopedic issues. We've had a few dogs requiring knees and hip surgeries over the years. So while we can do a certain amount of physical therapy work here, we certainly need to do a lot more. So our next dog building is going to be 2 buildings in one. On the left side, you'll see a pretty standard dog cottage with 4 rooms for 4 dogs, living room, kitchen, all of the same things that we normally have in our dog cottages. And we'll be focusing on some of the seniors and some of the more medically necessary dogs over there. But then on the right side, you'll see our new physical therapy wing. Up in the top center of our therapy wing is an underwater treadmill. If you've ever brought your dogs for physical therapy work, you might be familiar with this. It's a treadmill that fills up with water for the dogs to run and walk in to build up their muscles and build up their joints in a safe way that doesn't cause any impacts. There'll also be room for exercise ball work, and we'll have equipment for a laser, which we've already got, as well as some PEMF magnet work to help various types of pain and discomfort for the dogs. Also, as this is a growing area of dog care, we're hoping that we can arrange things to offer this service to the public as well. So we're looking, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, John, sorry.
So we're looking forward to this building to kind of serve a lot of different needs for our dogs here, and kind of move forward in this care of some of the most in need dogs that are out there that really need the relief of their issues.
Wonderful, thanks, John. And Lindsay, why don't you walk us through the cat cottage?
Okay, so for those of you who have been to the sanctuary and seen Jane's place, you'll recognize kind of the layout is similar, but one of the biggest populations we've been seeing an increase of, which Susan mentioned, is really under-socialized cats. So these are cats that maybe have lived with one person their whole life, didn't really get exposed to a lot of different types of people. So coming to the sanctuary can be a stressful experience for them just because it's a whole new world, literally. So in the new building, Minnie's Muse, we're going to have the 2 cat rehab rooms. And what the cat rehab rooms are, they're longer than the living spaces that the cats are in. And it's meant to be this place we can work with them, hopefully temporarily, in these spaces on these new behavior protocols we're learning, to help re-socialize them with all different types of people. It's a nice long hallway, so that way when we go in there, the cats have plenty of space to hide if they want to. They don't feel like we're encroaching on their space. So that way we can work as staff and with the volunteers to slowly kind of acclimate them to all these, new sights and smells and people. And the goal is, once the cat is more comfortable in the space, they can go to one of the many cat rooms kind of surrounding the building. Each cat will have their own room, but we do have 2 larger rooms on either side of the building that are a little bit bigger. So if we do get duos or even trios, they'll have plenty of space to roam. But the other rooms too will fit more than one cat. But a lot of the cats we do get in don't like other cats, so they'll have that luxury of having the space to themselves. Each cat room has access to an enclosed catio, so that way they can get all the enrichment that outdoors offers, but with all the safety of not being just loose outside, which is a really big draw for a lot of the cats here. Oftentimes, even in the colder weather, the cats will want to go outside. So that gives the shyer cats that we'll be taking in and the under-socialized cats another opportunity and another space to kind of escape to if they need that kind of hiding spot. And then my favorite part, of course, is the litter room. We also have one at Jane's place. So this is a room dedicated just for cleaning litter boxes with a nice big deep sink. So that's a great thing for the staff to have. So that way the kitchen and the other office space and pantry will have room for all the food and prepping the meals and everything, but all the kind of storage and cleaning supplies and cleaning tasks can take place in that litter room. So we're really excited to kind of expand the services we can offer the under-socialized cats, because as I mentioned, that is a big population of the cats we get in now. So we're hoping that having these cat rehab rooms will really kind of accelerate some of the progress we've made with the cats here, but this is like the ultra specialized room for them. So excited to start working with them.
Awesome, thank you, Lindsay. Okay, so this is a small animal cottage. And so I'm really excited about this cottage. And we did a lot of research, went to a lot of different rescues and had to understand a lot of different species and what makes them happy and the kind of environment they have. But just to give you a walkthrough, when you walk into the cottage, this is kind of like the human aspect of places. We have the kitchen, office, all that stuff here. But then when you start going around the corridor, it's like utopia of all critters. You have different rooms in the hallway for different species. So there's room for rats. Overflow would be any kind of species that comes in that doesn't have enough room. A specific room for guinea pigs. There'll be an area for ferrets that I'll get back to in a second. There will be 2 rooms for rabbits. We see rabbits are the 3rd most popular pet, and we see a lot of underserved and neglected rabbits. And little designs like rabbits like to look out of windows, so we have some ground floor windows so they can look out right from the ground. We also have a safe outdoor area for the rabbits to go and get some fresh air. We have another room here just for kind of smaller caged animals. And one of the challenges that we had in designing this was to try to figure out how we're going to have all these wonderful little species here and ferrets, who happen to be a natural predator of all these wonderful little species here. And ferrets, as you know, or may know, they're very stinky. So we've been able to design the building where this whole corridor where ferrets, it's kind of lifts out on its own. You can come in from the outside, go into a vestibule, and then be in the ferret room, and then leave straight out and never have to contaminate the rest of the building. There obviously is access from the hallway here, but we're actually going to have different exchange units for air so that the ferrets can be part of this building, but not kind of be absorbed in the flow or the smell or anything, so that all of our other critter friends stay nice and happy and feel very safe. So those are the plans for our different cottages. And it's pretty exciting that we have all this scheduled to start next year. And a lot of time and effort went into design and planning for all this. So I think we've not only identified 3 populations of underserved animals, but really have done as good of a job as we know we can to make sure that we're designing these buildings to serve them as good as we can. So I'm going to throw it now to Mitchell. He is, like I said, our development committee chair, and he'll tell you a little bit more about the capital campaign, where we are with things, our 20th anniversary that's coming up, and some other exciting stuff going on.
Great. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Good. I'm glad you didn't have me speaking right after the video, because I've seen it 3 or 4 times, and every time I'm kind of a mess crying, and it could have been really, really awkward. I'm like, thank you for your support. But anyway, thank you all for being here. Sorry, once again, we are not together, but hopefully next year we will be. We should have plenty of opportunities to get together at the sanctuary for events to celebrate our 20th. But we appreciate you taking the time to be here with us in the middle of the day. And of course, thank you for your support. As others have said, there's been a lot of pivoting and adjustments over the past year, 2 years nearly now. But in terms of meeting the needs and supporting the people and pets that need us, we never missed a beat. And it was because of you. In good times and bad, you guys have been there for us. And just thank you for continuing to make us a priority in your life. As you've heard me say a million times, and Susan just say, we are funded entirely through donations, and the vast majority of those donations come from our Leadership Giving Society. So thank you. We are excited about our 20th anniversary in 2022. In my mind, our 20th anniversary is inextricably linked to my marriage. Our marriage. Susan and I got married 20 years ago as well. And it's relevant to me because we were literally on the plane to getting married. We got married in Hawaii. It was sort of like a planned elope. And we were on the plane, and she turned to me and said, so there's this land in Ashford. And I was like, A, what's Ashford? And B, what are you talking about? And I got a little bit afraid, and that began the journey. We talked all about it on the flight and then on the flight back. And basically, as soon as we returned, Susan started getting to work with Marie, and the rest is history. But I'm really excited about the 20th anniversary because it gives us a chance. It will give us a chance to talk about where we've been, because as more time goes on, we have new donors, new volunteers, new staff who don't necessarily know the history, know about the factory farm and all the struggles of those early years. And I think it's relevant because it very much informs who we are today, because we didn't have a sanctuary for the first 10 years. We were demolishing the factory farm, clearing the land, dealing with the town and zoning and all the politics in Ashford, and getting the permits and whatnot, and also learning how to raise money and make this happen. But all the while, our programs were being born, and we began to serve a lot of people in those first 10 years without a facility whatsoever. And a lot of those programs are with us to this day. And had we had a sanctuary right out of the gate, we might not look the same way and perhaps wouldn't be making the same impact. A big percentage of our budget of the money you give goes to operate the sanctuary, but a lot of it goes to all these other things that we're doing, like Susan was talking about. Many of them intersect with the sanctuary, but many of them are independent. So I'm excited to tell that story. And, 10 years ago, many of you were at our ribbon cutting for the first cottage. And it's really funny to look back on it now in hindsight, because it was just one little cottage at the Sebastian house, but we were all so excited. There was like 100 people there cheering. And because, those of us who'd been with us the early days knew about the struggle and how far we come. And now it's exciting to see the sanctuary, and it's really exciting to see where it's going to go. I mean, it's going to look like a little town by the time we're done with the next phase. So about the capital campaign, I think Susan gave the basic overview. It was a $1 million is a $1,750,000 campaign to build the 3 new cottages, including the rehab center for dogs and all the site work. We started it in late 2019 and early 2020. We had some wonderful leadership gifts right out of the gate. And then we had paused because of COVID and basically didn't fundraise at all for 2020. But it didn't change the time frame because we always intended to begin construction in 22. So we just sort of compressed it all this year. And we kicked the year off with this great challenge, thanks to Chris and Chuck Shivery. And we're doing great. And we're almost there. We're about just a little less than $150,000 to go to meet our goal by the end of the calendar year. So it's looking very, very good for us to be able to put a shovel in the ground in early 22. We're not there yet, but we do think we'll get there this year. We do still have some great naming opportunities, which is exciting. That's always hopefully an enticement for some folks. So we're getting there, and we've had a lot of luck, and a lot of generous people have come forward, and we're very grateful for that. And we're just excited to have construction happening again. It's been a while. It's been about 5 years, I think. And again, we look forward to having events celebrating our 20th and being on the site with that happening. It should be feel very rejuvenating, like we've sort of turning the page on this complicated time. So that's the capital campaign. As far as the annual fund goes, we have an annual fund challenge that you'll be hearing about shortly that we're really excited about. It's all about our 20th anniversary. I forgot the name, but basically it's going to be this big challenge that we're going to unveil in mid-November through the end of the calendar year, ending on January 1st. I don't want to give too much away because we want to have a big launch, but some long-term donors have come forward, put their name behind this challenge, and I think it's really going to help drum up more support, create some more energy, both for our 20th and just for the annual fund, which of course, as you've heard us say so many times, is everything to us. You know, everything comes down to the annual fund. As far as specific events, I know I'm being a little vague. It's just a little vague, but it's just really hard to plan events these days. We were supposed to be in person, and I think we decided to go online like an hour before the mask mandate returned in West Hartford. So we looked prescient there, but it's looking good for us to have some in-person events, certainly in the springtime. And one of the things that we're really excited about, Susan, do you have the sculpture pictures on cue? Which I'll turn it to Susan in a second, but Valerie Friedman, former board chair and current board member, has commissioned this incredible artwork that's going to be at the sanctuary as part of our 20th. You can see it there. It is so cool and so fun, and just I think captures sort of the spirit of the sanctuary. So Susan, tell us a little bit more about this.
Yeah, that artist that's standing on that chair right there, on the 9-foot-tall dog that she's creating, her name is Danielle Mailer, and she does extraordinary works of art. Her style is to have silhouettes, and then inside the silhouette are detailed mosaics and detailed images of lots of other things that kind of represent the sculpture. So here you have, we're going to have a dog and a cat, and I kind of on the right side kind of gave you a better, closer look at the detail that goes into this. But we spent a lot of time with Danielle talking about who our companions is, the history of the factory farm, our programs, our philosophies, our values, what we represent. And on this dog and on this cat, she's going to put all of that beautiful detail together. They're big, like the dog is 9 feet tall and the cat is like, I think 7 feet. And so for those of you who have been to the sanctuary, when you kind of roll up, you see Sebastian House, the red house up on the hill, kind of on that slope going up, the sculpture will be there. So we're going to be having that installed in the spring. Valerie Friedman has commissioned this for us, which was a wonderful, wonderful gift to our organization. And I can't wait for you all to see, hopefully it in person once it's installed very soon.
Thank you. So that's really all I have. Again, I want to thank you all so much for helping us through difficult times and for getting us to this point. We're really excited about where we've been, but we're far more excited about where we're going. And all of that is possible because of you. And again, I can't wait to see you in person. So that's it. Susan, I don't know, I'm turning it back to you, right?
Great. Well, as I had hoped, we have a little bit of time before the end of the program. So again, I'm just so happy that you're here. I wish you were physically in front of me, but you're virtually in front of me. So I wanted just to pause. And if anyone had some questions, I knew we gave you a lot of information about our new programs and the expansion. Feel free to just unmute yourself and fire away. If you want to just raise your hand like this, I'll unmute you if that's easier. Anything to share, any questions anyone has?
There's one quick question in the chat. Are there any additional matching donation campaigns coming up? Yes, it's not a match, it's a challenge. And I'm so tempted to spill the beans, but you'll be hearing about it in a couple weeks. But basically, we're going to have this stretch goal at year end. And if we get there, we're going to get this wonderful commitment to the annual fund to put us in a position of strength as we start our 20th year. So I think we're going to unveil it, I think November 15th-ish. So that'll be happening. So yeah. So thank you for that question. Any fundraising questions, bring them on.
Well, hey, I have a question.
Great.
That's
Susan.
right.
Are you still open on Saturdays for visitors?
No, we're not. And I'll tell you, but if any of you want to come, I'm happy to schedule a tour anytime. Let me tell you, when we had to close public hours for a reason, obviously COVID. But what we found is that it was actually much better for the animals. And it was much better for our operation. We had to literally, all of our very reactive dogs, we had to have staff to take them off site. And it was stressful to have all these people walking around. A lot of the real shy cats had a hard time with that. And so, and a lot of people who are coming to visit were coming to adopt, and that's really not the best way to go about that process. The best way is to meet with one of our adoption counselors and then schedule a tour to meet all the animals there. And we didn't have those adoption counselors during Saturday hours. So we're going to keep holding this off. It's just better for our operation. However, that said, if any of you want to come, I'm always looking for an excuse to go there. And if any of you want a tour of a group or someone that you know, please just let me know. We're not locking down. It's just for the general public. It was just better for the animals and better for our operations to manage.
Because I'd like to bring a friend out there to see the place and get her interested in it.
Yeah, email me and we'll set it up. I look forward to that.
Okay.
Absolutely. And anyone else as well.
I'm looking at the chat. Susan, could you address how COVID impacted OC's adoption numbers in 2020 with more people staying home and working from home, and whether the pandemic wind down in 2021 and people returning to offices has resulted in an uptick in surrenders of previously adopted animals? Thanks in advance. Thank you for the question. I'm sure you've got.
Yeah. Well, we rode the beautiful wave of urgent pet adoptions where everyone wanted an animal during the pandemic, and we were able to place, I think during our December update, I showed you a whole slideshow of all the animals, many of them who've been at the sanctuary for years, that were able to adopt out. The adoptions have slowed down for sure. And I was just telling Mitchell the other day that in the last 6 weeks, we've been seeing a kind of concerning trend on our helpline. We're getting so many more calls. I mean, we've always gotten thousands of calls a year, but the type of calls we're getting are a lot of them are surrenders. And like I said, we analyze all the data of our helpline, and I'm trying to find a common denominator through all of these cases, and there just doesn't seem to be one. People moving, people's left the animal behind, stray cat, someone's older cat can't take care of it. And there's just all these dog behavior. So, I mean, it's just this convergence of all sorts of issues. But I have been seeing a trend towards more surrenders. So we have been super busy with that. And I'm hoping it doesn't continue. But we're prepared in the helpline to be able to scale up as those calls increase. So hopefully this is just a temporary thing and people just getting into the fall. I don't know. So, but like I said, we really do analyze this stuff and make sure we keep a good feel for what's happening, so we could make sure we have the resources to throw at the needs that need to be met.
Got a great question from Lynn in the chat, so I'll just read it too. In my pet therapy work, I run into a lot of senior citizens who don't know how to do basic preventative care for their dogs. They have a special interest in learning how to brush dogs' teeth, for example. Have you been doing any preventative care education as part of the pop-up clinics that serve seniors and perhaps offering them as starter kits?
Yeah, absolutely. Grooming is turned out, again, you don't know what you don't know. And through a lot of this community outreach we've been doing, we've been finding grooming and physical care issues, things even just like doing insulin, for people who have trouble with their hands. So there's a lot of issues that we've been identifying, but certainly dental issues are huge. For animals that tolerate teeth brushing, we certainly will offer those resources and training, but just a lot of grooming issues we've been finding as well. So, the whole idea of why I'm excited about the senior program is that we're going into it with an open mind and a blank slate. What are your needs? And from there, we'll be able to, develop and scale programs that can meet those needs. So absolutely.
Question, is it more helpful to donate to the sanctuary or to donate to the capital campaign or the annual campaign? I'd probably say at this point, the annual fund, we that's everything to us. So especially going into year end where so much of our fundraising happens, because there are times of the year when it's quiet and we need to capitalize on certain periods. So probably now through the end of the year, the annual fund is going to be key. And again, you'll be hearing more about it soon. So thank you for the question. Is this helping? Susan, do you want me to just read these?
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
Great. Thank you for the questions. This is awesome. I take many helpline calls relating to seniors rehoming their senior cats. Is there any opportunity for us to expand work with senior centers around the state to help educate our senior population as to how to create a plan for their pets? And I think the answer is very much yes.
Yeah, that's part of our seniors and pets program. We actually have a flyer of all the services we provide, and one of the big one is safety net, planning for your pets. I have a whole program that I've developed to make sure that people think through things, have backup caregivers, temporary caregivers, emergency caregivers. And part of what I think is very possible of us doing this research with our community needs assessment is developing a temporary housing program for seniors if they go into a hospital or a nursing home or something like that. So they don't have to necessarily relinquish their pets, but there's some safety net if it's a temporary thing. So that's all to come through our research. But it's a very vulnerable population, both of pets and people. So very much that safety plan is huge. We have taken in more animals in the last couple of years than ever that have been left behind by the elderly. And it's preventable. So we are squarely focused on that. So thank you for that.
We have a very good question. Do you serve other cities and towns besides Manchester? And I think, Susan, you were talking about the pilot of the program in Manchester, but we'll be expanding far.
Basically, all of our services are accessible for those who we can access physically and who can access us in terms of geographic. We had gotten a 3-year grant to start our senior program as a pilot program, and we wanted to start it specifically in one community so we can really dig in and understand the needs instead of sprinkling our resources everywhere. We already had an established relationship with Manchester Human Services, so it was just a natural fit. And so our goal is to, understand what's going on, start these programs, and then from there determine what new programs we need, what the budget for that is going to be, and then be able to make financial projections about how we can scale up these programs in different communities, both rural and urban and suburban. So, it's really going to be a process for us, but it very much is like all of our programs. We start small, we refine, we understand how much it costs and what it's going to take, and then we scale it up through, thankfully, funding from wonderful people like you. And again, it's all part of our annual fund, all part of where we're going as an organization.
When you think of like the 5,000 plus calls we get in our helpline each year, are most of them in the Hartford County or east of the river? Everywhere.
And actually in other states as well. We get calls from everywhere.
That does it. Any more questions? Another one just popped up.
Oh, okay, pet therapy. So that was a pet visitation program. Yeah, we actually partner with an organization that's called Tales of Joy. There's probably some Tales of Joy members on this Zoom. I think, is Daphne here with us? And they're a great organization. They're a pet assisted therapy organization. And they do that. They go into, housing, nursing homes and hospitals and schools now. And pet therapy is a wonderful thing. We don't specifically do it. We work and support Tales of Joy because that's fully their thing. Frankly, a lot of our animals wouldn't appreciate those trips out to visit, but appropriate animals do that. And we love the work that Tales of Joy does.
There was a message that I think we had missed. It said the East Hartford Senior Center has either just reopened or is about to reopen in a new location, a new building. And if they're having an open house or a similar event, it might be a great opportunity to let seniors know about what we're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah, we definitely, right now, our November pop-up clinic, I just had a meeting before this one, is completely booked. And so we're going to hopefully book a lot more, not just in Manchester, but in other communities. So we're squarely focused on expanding that.
Great. I paraphrased at the end there, but I think I got it. That's it. Just a nice message from Kathy. Did anyone have anything else? I realize it's almost 1 o'clock. This flew by fast. Thank you for sticking with us. I really appreciate it. Most everyone is still on the call.
Well, thank you very much to all of you. It's good to see your beautiful faces, and thank you for all of your support. We'll keep in touch. Our fall edition of Our Companions News is getting printed as we speak. You should look out for that in the next couple of weeks. That'll be in your mailboxes. Lots more information to come. And as always, I will always keep you informed of what's going on through hopefully some live events as well. And if you ever have any questions, ever want to chat, you know where to find me. I always say I have no life, so you might as well just give me a call. We'll hang out. And if you want to tour the sanctuary, just let me know. I'll be happy to give you that as well. So thank you, everyone. Take care. Have a wonderful fall, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
You.